Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. Now, hundreds of thousands of GCSE pupils are feeling very nervous this morning as they find out their results, but students in England are being told to expect harsher markings and higher grade boundaries this time, and around 300,000 fewer A's and the A stars are expected to have been awarded compared to last year, with an aim to end to the pandemic grade inflation. Education Minister Nick Gibb joins us now. Nick Gibb, if you don't mind, we'll introduce you to see in a second, but just do need to get your response and reaction to this news overnight over the death of Evgeny Prigozhin, the leader of the Wagner faction, if you like, in Russia, and serious allegations that President Putin of Russia is responsible in assassination, if you like. What are your thoughts this morning? Well, this only happened a few hours ago, so it's important not to jump to conclusions. We are assessing the position and working very closely with our allies, so there's not much more I can say than that. The government will have more to say once those assessments and the conversations with our allies reach a firm conclusion. Will it have an impact on the situation in Ukraine? Well, look, in terms of the British government, we support Ukraine in defending itself from the illegal invasion by Putin. That position will continue. We've given billions of pounds of aid, military aid, to Ukraine because we do feel together with our allies that we all have to support that country in defending its independence from this illegal invasion. All right. Well, we'll watch that with interest, but of course, you're here to talk about GCSE results and education generally. It's been made clear and it's been flagged that it's likely to be harsh remarking this year on the grades to try and edge away back to pre-pandemic levels, but the youngsters that sat their exams this time were definitely affected by the pandemic. It was all part of their preparation for their GCSEs, so is it fair on them? We have taken measures to make it fair. We've given the extra exam of equations and formula sheets for the science GCSE exam. We've spaced the exams over a wider period. The senior examiners will look at the performance level overall at a national level to see how it compares to 2019, and where there is a dip in performance, that will be taken into account in setting those great boundaries. So it is fair. The teacher assessed grades in 2020 and 2021 was designed to tackle the issue of COVID, that we had to cancel exams because of health reasons. It's important to get back to 2019. This was announced nearly 2 years ago. Last year was a stepping stone, so sixth form colleges, sixth forms, FE colleges are aware that we are returning to the normal position of 2019 grading, so it is fair we're also helping those young people who have had disruption to their education with £5 billion of recovery funding for schools, one-to-one tuition, small group tuition, to help particularly the disadvantaged pupils to catch up from their lost education during COVID-19. It's the disadvantage of students that are worse off, aren't they? Yet again, it's a double whammy for them, whether they will now get lower grades because of, as you've explained, there's over 300,000 lower grades this year, and then we know that disadvantaged children, whether it's from poor families, those that rely on food banks, are more likely to get worse GCSE results. We know after the alien results last week, and it will be the same applies. There's a huge disparity between private and state schools. The Conservative Party has been in power for 13 years. How come you haven't got that right? We've done a huge amount of everything we did with our education forms has been precisely about that, and prior to the COVID pandemic, we had closed that attainment gap at the secondary level by 9%, and we closed it at primary by 13%. We spent £2.9 billion a year on pupil premium, extra money for schools particularly designed to help the disadvantaged, and our school reforms have created schools such as Michaela in North London. And there are other schools like this around the country that is getting. Last year got 95% of its pupils, and it serves a very disadvantaged community, but 95% of its pupils achieved at least a grade 5 in both English and Math GCS, so this can't be done, and we're spreading that approach across the country. Your party have had 13 years, that's lots of careers, dreams, ambitions, aspirations, and lives lost of young kids before you came into power in 2010.